you've been kind of the defender of legalized prostitution for a long, long time. I mean, since I can remember.
Well, I've been more pushing against sex trafficking because you're to get rid of sex trafficking, you've got to legalize the business. And Prohibition's a great example. Brittany, what was your analogy?
It's like Budweiser versus bootlegging.
Bootleggers to Budweiser, and it's a great analogy. And we're seeing it now. Like I'm not a weed smoker, but look what we're seeing with the weed. I mean, now that they're legalizing it in a lot of states, and it's a big money earner, the drug cartel is backing off, and they're getting into heroin and underage trafficking because that's illegal. And there's money in the illegal things.
$3 billion in human trafficking.
So we've got it right. The Monday Night just got it right. It's the model, and we went down to Atlanta and we fought it out with Nancy Grace for an hour. And during one of the breaks, it was so funny. She says, Dennis, you in there crying because we're in different studios because the way she does the boxes, right?
Oh wow!
And I said no, and what'd she say?
She said, "You didn't think this was going to be a PTA meeting, honey, did you?"
Oh, God, of course. Ridiculous.
Because the TV show is now in 64 countries. Even some of these Kyrgyzstan, some the names I can't even pronounce. It's enabled me to take my voice of fighting sex trafficking all over the world. I spoke 2 years ago at Oxford University. Only 6 U.S. presidents have been invited to speak there, along with Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama, Winston Churchill, and Albert Einstein. Yeah. Last year, I spoke at Trinity College in Dublin, and this year, Chrissy and I just 4 weeks ago were at the Sorbonne in Paris, the most famous 600-year-old university in France, because it all makes sense. I've got the answer. The world's got the problem. They just need to listen.
Well, France, I mean, they have legalized prostitution in France. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, but it's really kind of weird. Like, we went down this street. We're going to the Moulin Rouge, and the driver was taking us there. And there's this street with like 20 little teeny minivans, a lot smaller than ours are, with girls working out of the minivans.
What?
With a sheet in the front where the driver is over the windows. And the guys go along, and if the sheet's down, then they're available to work. And they do it. They have it on the streets. It's crazy, and it's dangerous.
Wow!
And there's a lot of exploitation.
French version of a taco truck.
Yeah, exactly. That's the ultimate taco truck.
Yeah, exactly. Wow!
Holy mackerel!
I had no idea.
Oh, that was a knee slapper.
That's funny.
Oh,
that's funny. Now I just want to work to legalize this business. Look, Las Vegas is a disaster, and you've got thousands and thousands. You got 30,000 working girls coming in here working illegally, and look, you got pimps getting killed on the strip. I mean, it's out of hand, and somebody needs to tell our politicians, hey, this is not acceptable in our town.
I do want to play this clip from Nancy Grace here real quick, because I thought you handled yourself quite well on Nancy Grace.
Dennis Hoff, author of The Art of the Pimp. Let's talk about the fact that it takes sometimes 3, 4, 12 weeks for HIV to show up,
well, they've
to manifest. And you girls get tested once a month, correct?
No, they get tested every week, and they got new and better tests now. Every week for chlamydia and gonorrhea, every month for HIV and syphilis. Since 1981, we went to mandatory condoms, never had a problem, not one. The Hefner can't say that. We can.
Oh, am I supposed to be picking between you and Hugh Hefner? Those are my two choices? How about no prostitution and no hooking? You know, there is another choice.
You think it's going to go away, Nancy? It's not going away.
No, I don't think it's going to go away. And you know why it's not going to go away? Because the devil. Because he ain't going anywhere.
Okay, there you go. That's how she ended.
The devil.
The devil is how she ended that. See, you held your own about it. It's great.
You know what that meant? She was stumped. Because whenever she's stumped, she comes off with the devil or God.
And I've never seen Dennis not know how to answer a question, but she said the devil, and I'm like, that's the first time I saw Dennis. Like, I don't even know what to say to that.
What do you do with that? When she throws the devil card down on you, I mean, it's like, where do you go with that?
The devil went down to Georgia on Nancy's show.
Wouldn't that have been funny? Because she's from Georgia. Oh yeah. Well, the devil went down to Georgia, Nancy.
And you're the devil, Dennis. They always paint Dennis out to be a villain on every show. It's so funny.
In which I just want to point out, and this is what I think is the most important thing, because I am so against sex trafficking. I mean, that's what I rally against. And Chrissy, you're treated well.
Yes, every day of my life.
and the girls at the ranch, they're treated well. They're not beaten. They're not slapped around. They're not chained to the bed. They're not forced to be there. Whereas in illegal prostitution, that's what happens to them.
That's exactly right. And the only difference between them and normal girls in Michigan, they're a lot more fun because they're not so conservative like my state.
But she's going to be a doctor, and she's the way that I see it, and she does too, is that we want her to give back to the world because of the money she made at the Bunny Ranch by working with sex trafficked young underage girls.
It makes me want to slow clap you.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it. So.
Exactly.
Because there's no matter what TV show you like Nancy Grace, there's always that man-woman exploitation thing that they always pull on you, which is just totally nonsense. Because all the girls are there because they want to be, but when it's a woman doing it, it takes that away. It totally takes that away.
Yeah, you got some
I'm
bald
excited.
guy here talking about how women want to be there. It's there's kind of an air of, all right, let's
Right.
kind of vet this out a little bit. But then, of course, Chrissy, if you're there.
Yeah, no, I truly wanted to be there to pay off my school loans. It was, fun hanging out with the girls during that time, and now I'm done with that, and I'm having an even better time now hanging out with Dennis and working on my school. So.
And
Perfect.
she'll say, they'll say to me, they'd say, well, what do you mean? How do you know? You've never worked there. I paid off my education. I'm a doctor now because of the Bunny Ranch. I've been in the trenches. I know what it's like. And Dennis has got it
You
right.
act like it's war or
I know.
something.
Well,
No,
it's like you want someone who knows the ins and outs.
And
Ins
I'll
and
never
outs.
Of the
make
Bunny
that
Ranch.
type of money again in my life. I made a ton of money, and I never will make that much money again in my life. But
Well,
it
you
was a
could probably-
great time while I was doing it, and now I'm done and having an even better time, like I said. So
And the point is, you got to keep the money
yes, I got to keep
yourself.
the money.
You
yeah.
weren't. It wasn't beaten out of you.
No,
And that's.
no.
I'll admit that I was a little skeptical because, like I said, I'm a huge advocate against human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought about it, and I'm like, the bootlegger to Budweiser thing.
It's a
The
perfect
mafia
analogy.
would not exist if not for prohibition.
If your
Human
listeners,
trafficking wouldn't exist if it was
Exactly.
legal.
if they truly knew what was going on in Las Vegas right now, every one of them would be driving their car right down to the DA's office and said, do something. Stop this, because it's out of hand.
Do you want to go?
I'll
Because
go.
I'm trying.
Heck yeah.
I met with a girl that's at a safe house here, and I was talking to her about her experience. She was at a brothel in Louisiana, obviously illegal.
Yeah.
She was not there by choice. She was beaten and abused, not allowed to leave. 13 years old. It's a completely different world. And if it was legal, then people wouldn't have to commit the crime.
We need to do something where we go down to City Hall with a bunch of signs, and I'll give out my books to all your listeners that will come down and pick it with us.
I'm down. Are you
I'm
down?
down.
Yeah,
Sounds
hell
like
yeah.
a good time too.
Let's shake on it.
You got a lot
Right.
of books. You're gonna have a lot of books.
I'll bring a big truck.
Lot of books.
I'll bring a
yeah,
big truck.
truckload of them.
Well, you also have this job opening I want to get to because
Yeah.
this job opening is. We just read the story about in Germany how the brothels there are looking for a brothel, basically like a reviewer, a person who's going to go there and kind of like a Priceline.com, a rating system. Like, oh, they're really good at this, bad at that, and you're looking for the kind of the same thing.
Well, what we did is we went to the New York Daily News and we told them what we were going to do. And they saved it. They sat on it until April Fool Day because they wanted to throw it out there. Fox News talked about it, NBC, the late night guys. And the greatest compliment was this weekend when the Saturday Night Live ripped on it. And they said, yes, so the Moonlight Bunny Ranch brothel is hiring, interviewing for testers, and the girls will be rated on the level of F to don't F.